On September 21st, in Lake Odessa, Michigan, Joan Jacobson was canvassing against a pro-abortion ballot proposition that was up for a vote. And so she was going around neighborhoods, as a lot of campaigners do, expressing her views and persuading her fellow citizens. And it was all going just fine until she got to one home, the Harvey residence, where the woman, Mrs. Harvey, instantly became very, very hostile, was clearly very supportive of abortion. And I suppose Mrs. Harvey is entitled to her opinions. But then what happened is Mrs. Harvey's husband came out with a gun, with a loaded gun, and shot Joan Jacobson. Joan is 84 years old, 120 pounds, retired nurse, not someone you would say is presenting a particular physical threat to you or your family. Shot, and this story has received basically no coverage anywhere in the establishment media because it contradicts the pro-abortion narratives that they're all trying to sell. So we think that it is only right and just and fair to have Joan on with her lawyer, attorney Steve Coleman, to just explain what happened. Joan, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so sorry to hear about what happened to you.
Well, thank you for having me.
I would say I'm so sorry to hear what happened to you. I'm so happy to hear that you escaped. Obviously, the situation could have gone way differently, and you would not be sitting here talking about this today. So just, if you wouldn't mind, what happened?
You mean start from the beginning?
Please, yeah.
Okay, when I went to the door, I told her why I was being there, and she identified herself as being Mrs. Harvey. And immediately when I mentioned Proposal 3 and voting no, she got very angry, antagonistic, and said that no, she was going to vote no on it. And I said to her, I kept calm, I didn't raise my voice, and I said, did she know that it was going to amend the state constitution? And she just said she didn't care, she was going to vote no. And then she proceeded to tell me that she had had a tubal pregnancy. And I said to her, I said, well, there's always been an exception for the life of the mother, because in this situation, that's what happens. They have to take the baby because it's not going to be able to mature in the fallopian tube. And so, I told her again a second time, and I don't think that she understood what I was saying about it. It's an exception to the life of the mother, and obviously her life was in danger. Well, she keeps yelling, and she says, well, I don't want this to happen to anybody else. And I can't even have a chance to explain to her that, yes, this is going to happen to somebody else. Medicine doesn't know, to my knowledge, when a mother's going to have an ectopic pregnancy.
Right.
There's nothing that they can do to stop it. And so she then immediately says, you don't have a right to be here and get off my property. To which I replied, I'm going. So I got down the steps, there were 3 or 4 steps to get up to the porch, got on the sidewalk. I'm carrying a clipboard because I have a list of homes that I'm going to go visit. And they're telling me I had my umbrella because it was raining that day. I couldn't tell the police for sure if I had the umbrella or not. So I'm hanging onto my clipboard and my umbrella. And it's a long sidewalk. It's not like the city. It's a long sidewalk from the home to the driveway, 50, 60 feet. And so I'm about 12, 15 feet down on the sidewalk, and she's behind me yelling.
So she's following you as you walk away.
Well, yeah. I mean, she's off the porch. She's on right at the bottom of the steps, and she's on her cell phone, and she's yelling at me constantly. I don't remember everything that she yelled, but she was yelling, get off my property. And so I kept going in. As I'm walking out of the corner of my eye, I saw that there was a man. There was a barn on the property. There was a man walking alongside the barn. Didn't think anything of it. He didn't come up and talk to me. The police asked me, well, was he carrying a gun? I said, I can't tell you if he was carrying a gun or not. He didn't come and talk to me. He went around the back of me. And I'm just assuming he's going up to his home. Really didn't think a thing of it. Keep walking, and hanging on my clipboard and my umbrella. They told me I had the umbrella. And she's yelling constantly behind me, get off my property. And then at some point, all of a sudden, she's alongside of me. I'm on the sidewalk and she's in the grass, but 5 or 6 feet away from me. And I looked up for some reason, and the police said that there were 2 shots. I had only heard 1 shot. So I'm thinking what made me look up is the fact I do have some hearing problem, that I heard something, didn't recognize it as being a gunshot. And then, so I'm turning sideways and looking, and I see the man is standing next to her in the grass. And as soon as I realized he was standing there, I know the first thing I noticed was he had this gun, long-barreled gun. And by the time, just a matter of seconds, it's like I heard the shot and I felt this pain. And I thought, oh, he hit me in the back because I had intense pain in the back. And they didn't say anything. And I didn't think I said anything, but I've been told, she evidently was taping what was happening, that I said, did he shoot me? I thought I just said it to myself. He didn't say anything. She didn't say anything. And that was all I said. And I started walking to my car. Because I'm almost at the end of the sidewalk, so I'm pretty much closer to my car. I open up the door and I'm thinking, am I going to be able to drive? I didn't know how badly I was hurt. And so I didn't feel dizzy or faint or, any other symptoms other than pain. So I thought, well, I think I can get in the car and drive. And so I didn't call 911. I didn't getting ready to get behind the wheel, and I happened to look through the windshield of the car, and they're both still standing there. And I told the cop, I said, for a fleeting second, I thought, this guy's going to shoot me again. He's going to shoot right through the window. Well, fortunately, he didn't. I get in the car, get it in gear, back up, get on the road, and think, what am I going to do? And I thought, well, I've got to tell the police. So I drove to the police station in Lake Odessa. It's probably maybe about 3 miles or so. I get there, and the village manager comes out, and he says, what can I do for you? And I said, I think I've been shot. And shot, he said, and I turned around, and I said, can you see anything? Because it hit up here on my shoulder. And of course, I can't see it. And he immediately said to me, he said, go sit down on that couch over there. And the next thing I know, I'm surrounded by about 5 or 6 people, and they're wanting to take off my top. And they're telling me, no, don't move. Keep your back straight. And they're rolling me and putting me on a board. And before I knew it, I'm in the ambulance and I'm on the way to the emergency room.
So the shot landed, it was in your back, it was in your shoulder, it
went over because of my turning sideways, it hit the top of my right shoulder and exited out my back up in the thoracic area of the spine. And I was told by the doctors that I was one lucky person because it just narrowly missed my spine. Fortunate otherwise, and the reason I could drive is because it didn't hit any major vessels and it didn't hit the bone. So that's why I was able to safely, I didn't think I was going to endanger myself or anybody else on the road, to get behind the car and drive to the police station.
Joanne, I have to tell you, there are some times when I stub my toe and I feel that I can't drive. So the fact that you were able to drive after being shot is extraordinarily impressive. And thank God that the people at the police station were able to say, sit down, we're taking you to the emergency room, we're going to treat you.